Mutations are universal in viruses. When viruses enter the host cells and replicate and make copies of their genomes, they inevitably introduce some errors in the code. The viral mutation is akin to a faulty spell check mechanism. And this virus has a pretty good spell checker, but not a perfect one.
Like a game of telephone, you're sending a message on to your friends, and eventually, as it gets 10 down the line, the message is very different from before. It's the same with mutations, that as a mutation in a virus is introduced from replication, now that becomes the new starting point for replication. So evolution is always continuous. We actually call this a molecular clock. So each point in time, what we think of as clockwork, you have more and more mutations that get added to that. And on average, SARS-CoV-2 acquires 1 to 2 mutations per month.
Many of these errors are harmful to the virus, and viruses carrying such mutations will be eliminated.
However, some of these mutations actually are beneficial to the virus. They become the building blocks of selection.
And so these better fit versions of the virus bind to the host cells and replicate and spread better than the original virus.
We want to know what mutations are occurring in specific viruses, because as now this pandemic has gone on for over a year and has caused millions of infections, and there's been so many different opportunities for selection to happen that collectively change the behavior of the virus, and we call those variants.